AITA for ending a lifelong friendship because he came out as transgender? It's been a couple of years now, but I was friends with Mark, not his real name, since we started preschool. After we graduated from high school, we didn't really have much to do but work and hang out. We lived in a very rural community and never had any desire to leave or go to college. I guess we were just trying to figure it out. But what I didn't know was that Mark had been dealing with issues for some years. He did seem down sometimes, but I thought it was normal teenage drama. One weekend, we were hanging out in his room, the basement of his parents' house, where we normally hung out. I noticed a pile of girls' clothes halfway hidden under a blanket. I pulled the blanket back to reveal a lot of clothes and women's underwear. Of course, as a teenage boy, I burst with joy, congratulating him on his new girlfriend. In my mind, she must have been crashing at his place without his parents knowing. That's why he was trying to hide her clothes. I really made a big deal about him finally getting laid and asked question after question about her without even giving him a chance to respond. You know, the way boys do. But after a few minutes, I noticed his eyes welling up. He was completely red in the face. I thought, like, oh shit, maybe he really didn't want to talk about it. Shit, maybe it was like his cousin or something that he was ashamed of. He only managed to say, no girlfriend. I am the girl. I'm trans. I was shocked. I couldn't even speak. He, well, I guess it's she, couldn't even look me in the eyes. I just stuttered, I'm sorry, and kind of backed away. I was seriously shocked by the news and ashamed I put my foot so deep in my mouth. After a pause that felt like forever, I could only manage to get out, maybe I should go, and I just left. I could hear him sobbing as I closed the door. When I got home, I just laid down on my bed and thought for hours. I thought about all the times we had together, all the trouble we had gotten into, all the tears we shed together. For me, it kind of felt like that person had died. I felt like I had lost the friend who was like a brother to me. Now, this new person was there, and honestly, I wasn't sure how I felt about this new dynamic. The next day, Mark called me. We talked for hours. She said, her name would change to May. I had so many questions. She told me she was still into girls. Her parents had somehow always known. They were the ones who helped her buy the clothes. They had remodeled their basement into a small apartment and gave it to her so that she could have the freedom and space to adjust to her new life. She was able to come and go as she pleased and do anything an adult would be allowed to do. Then I got to the question that had been eating at me. What will our relationship be like from now on? She will start talking different? She would wear the girls' clothes more often? Is our relationship like it was before, or is it more like a guy-girl friendship? She answered the questions, but she said it didn't really matter what she said. It was like I had made up my mind anyway. I told her this was all too much for me and I didn't know how to handle it. I said I needed space for a while because I didn't think I could be friends anymore. She said okay, and we haven't spoken since. I talked to my dad about everything. We usually didn't talk much, not about serious things. He was a quiet, hardworking man who didn't really share feelings. He said he thought being trans was unnatural, and I was right to stop speaking to Mark. I didn't agree with him. I actually felt like he was completely wrong. But I didn't argue. He said maybe it was time I got out of this town. High school friends would fade away anyway. He said he had always wanted to get a job on an offshore oil rig. He decided against it when my mother left us, and he had me to raise. It's a great opportunity with excellent pay and benefits. So I went online and found a company that would be willing to hire me. They paid for room and board during training. I just had to get there. So 3 days later, my dad had already bought the plane ticket and given me some cash and a credit card for emergencies. And I was on my way. That was 2 years ago. I spent my off time near the coast, but worked as much as I could. I sent the majority of my pay back to my dad for him to save or invest. I really didn't care. He took care of me all of those years, alone, and I really didn't care what he did with the money. I'm back home now for the holidays. My dad asked me to take the time off this year to spend with him at home. He has never asked me for anything before, so, of course, I took a few weeks off and came back. But I ran into May at the supermarket, and it is bringing back so many memories.